and understand what the forces that dictate your behavior are and why they have control over the way you behave and how deep that really goes and how much that is influencing the way you live your life. Real, true happiness and fulfillment in your life is not possible without a deep understanding of oneself. Without a deep understanding of yourself, all your life will be comprised of is preconceived notions of what will make you happy in the future and a chasing to always get there. To always be striving for that thing that you think, once I get that, then I will be satisfied. But if you look closely, if you take a look at your life, you'll notice that this is always a game you've played. You've always been thinking that once I get that thing, then I'll be happy. And maybe you've actually gotten a few of them already, but you still have more things that you're chasing after, more things that you are striving for. Now, I'm not saying that striving for things and pursuit and desire can't coexist with deep, authentic happiness in your life. They absolutely can. The pursuit of something in and of itself is not the flaw here. In fact, it's quite fulfilling to actually pursue something. And that's part of the trick. That's part of the trap that we fall into. Pursuing something actually is pretty fulfilling. But no matter what you achieve in your life, no matter what kind of status you have, no matter what kind of materials and what kind of resources you've accumulated, no matter what kind of accomplishments you have, none of those things are going to be what is inherently making you happy. And having your eye on any one of those things that I just listed as the objective, having this idea, this notion that once I do this, then I'll be happy. Once I get this thing, then I can relax, then I'll be happy. That is inherently flawed. And that is going to keep you running on that treadmill, chasing a carrot for your whole life. Even if the things that you're chasing are what you genuinely want. Now, you might hear that and think, but it genuinely makes me happy to pursue these goals that I have, right? I've done some self-reflection and I've realized that I have all these goals and I'm enjoying the process of achieving them. Okay, well, that is a very different story. That is a very different idea, a different narrative that you're telling yourself. And sometimes it can get a little blurry. Sometimes we lose sight of the fact that the joy should be in the journey. Sometimes we lose sight of the fact that the process itself should be one that we mostly enjoy, even through all the struggles that we might have pain relative to sometimes. I have a goal, for example's sake here, of getting my black belt and one day being able to teach people at scale through an academy that I'm the owner of. But that is not what is going to grant me my happiness. The process of doing what I'm doing every day to get there is in alignment with who I am at my core, with what I want to be doing each and every day. And that is fundamentally the important part. That is fundamentally why you need a deep understanding of yourself to be happy. Because you need to be able to live in alignment with your most authentic self. So if you have been working for a diploma, you've been working on degrees for 10 years now to have a PhD in some field, and you've been really grinding it out, school has been so hard, and you've been telling yourself it's all going to be worth it when I get that diploma, you're probably walking down a path of deception. And who's deceiving you? Well, first and foremost, you've deceived yourself. But also, society, wherever you got these ideas that like that's what you should do with your life. Now, let me paint a different picture. If you're an individual who really enjoys learning about neuroscience, you want to have a PhD in brain chemistry, and then, there's days here and there where you're going to pull the all-nighters to meet the deadlines for your research projects, or, you spend 60 hours a week in the lab, and that, it's probably a rough week, probably going to be a little tired that week. That is different. Hard work is going to be a part of anything. But the overwhelming relationship to your field of expertise, to what it is that you're pursuing, should be that you really enjoy it. Deep down at your core, it is aligned with who you are, what you want to contribute to the world. I remember talking to a couple friends once when we just started university, and we were talking about how you really should be enjoying what you're doing. And they agreed, with the caveat, except for engineering. And that's what they both happened to be in. Oh, how convenient. The only thing that is worth it if you don't enjoy it is the thing that you're doing. I called them out on that, and I said, what are you talking about? Why? Why would that be an exception? There's lots of things that for sure are going to pay well if you get your degree in them. You could study law. You could study medical science. But they said the only exception was engineering, because that's what they were doing, and that's what they were telling themselves. And that's what a lot of people tell themselves about their life path. It's worth it, even though it's like a means to an end. Your entire life path should not just be a means to an end. You could work a job for a year or two to save up enough money to go and pursue the thing that you really care about and use that as a means to an end. But spending your entire life as a means to an end, just to survive, you're robbing yourself of an opportunity to a life of thriving and being in alignment with what it is that you truly want deep in your soul. Being in alignment with who it is that you are. Now, the reason why most people don't live in alignment with who they are deep down is because, the reality is that often the beaten paths that are out there when you go to school, get a degree, get an education in a given field, probably not going to be something that fully satisfies you. So it's easier to walk a beaten path than it is to go and take a chance and cut through a new field and make your own path, because it feels more authentic. So that's going to be a difficult decision to make, but it will be very fruitful. And you might fail 11, 12, 13 times as you're trying to find your way through the weeds. And you're going to learn so much, and you're going to gain so much life experience, and you're just going to be one step closer to living more in alignment with yourself. And this is a forever evolving thing, being fully in alignment with yourself, because you grow as a person as well. I'm not just talking about your career path here. I'm talking about your whole life. How you proceed romantically, how you live in relationship to friends, how you live in relationship to hobbies, to strangers. But also, your career is going to play a really big part in this, because it's predominantly how do you service the world and how do you sustain yourself? How do you meet your needs, your survival needs, but also your needs of being intellectually stimulated and fulfilled by living in alignment with the deepest parts of your soul, okay? Now, this brings me to the second part of why people are not living in alignment with their most authentic self, is because this takes a lot of reflection. This really takes a lot of deep psychological understanding of the nature of behavior. So reading books about psychology is really going to serve you here to do this kind of work. But also getting down in the nitty-gritty of it and actually just sitting down with yourself, being able to just think and sit there with a pad and a pen and journal and understand what the forces that dictate your behavior are and why they have control over the way you behave and how deep that really goes and how much that is influencing the way you live your life. At the end of the day, you need to live your life for you. You can't live your life to please what someone else wants for you. If you're living out of alignment with what is most authentic to you, you're doing everyone around you a disservice. You will be a much happier person. You will be leading by example, and you will be an inspiration to people that you might not even know when you're that most authentic version of yourself. People will be able to feel that. It's a contagious energy. And of course, in order to do this reflection, to understand who the real you is under all these layers of conditioning, you also have to learn how to be present, which is where meditation is going to be very important. Being able to be present with yourself, be aware of when you're being self-deceptive. I have a video, probably a few actually, on self-deception. I'll link those in the description below. So the more present you are with yourself, the more you're going to be self-aware, the more you're going to catch any kind of self-deception, and the more authentic and truthful you'll be able to be with yourself and tell yourself those harsh, difficult, but necessary truths so you can come to terms with what needs to change or what needs to grow in order for you to be the most authentic version of yourself. So, in summary here, what I'm ultimately getting at is that you can't be happy, truly happy, without fully knowing yourself, because in order to be truly happy, you need to be living in alignment with the most authentic version of you, which is a very wordy way of saying you need to live from the heart. You need to live truthfully. You need to live authentically. In order to do that, you need to really know yourself. In order to know yourself, you need to have presence and self-awareness. So meditate, self-reflect, get to the bottom of who you really are, and live in accordance with that person. That person. It's you. Live in alignment with you, the real you. All right, guys. That is it for today's video. Before I go, I want to tell you about a quick resource. Actually, there's two of them, but one of them is especially relevant to this video. In the description down below, you can find a link to a free life audit workbook. This is a workbook where you can self-reflect on different sections of your life, what you would like to change, and you can have little goals written in there. You can track your progress on those goals for each section of your life, and it's a place to hold yourself accountable for making the progress that you want to make. Now, in no way is this a replacement for that deep self-reflection that we were talking about. That's going to take a lot of uncovering layers and really thinking by yourself and journaling pages on pages on pages, just on one little aspect of you. But the Life Audit Workbook is still a very helpful tool for self-reflection and self-accountability and tracking your progress with respect to certain goals that you have. And if that sounds like too much for you, well, you can claim the habit tracking calendar instead. Both of them are free in the description down below. So if you want to be the most productive version of yourself, who is productive in alignment with who you really are, now go ahead, claim both of those resources and do what we talked about in this video today. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, if you found value here, please subscribe to my channel, as it helps me grow and it gives you eyes on when I have new content. So if you found this valuable, you'll probably find my other content valuable as well. So be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.